Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on this aquaponics system. And I'm just placing the tank, the underwater camera right here in the fish tank. And above that, you saw the greenhouse. And I'll make a video about that here in the future. You see the water return is right there in the upper left-hand corner. That's where one of the drain pipes from the grow tower is returning the water back into this reservoir, and that looks like a pretty good shot here. The lighting is not the best because right here I'm about to put a cover over that to reduce algae. I found in the aquaponics system outside with natural light, you really do need to keep the reservoir covered in shadow to reduce a lot of the algae. They're coming, there's one sunfish that just came out there from those. Those are artificial plants just to allow them to feel more comfortable and less stressed. And behind those plants, I have the large plastic planter pots that I had talked about with a couple rocks in them to keep them, on the bottom of the reservoir. Over there in the lower left-hand corner, now I just threw some pellets in there at the top on the surface, you can see. So the fish will start coming out now from their shelters and start to feed. And at the bottom of that, on the bottom of that reservoir, you can see like a cylinder-shaped thing with a black cap on the end of it. That is a heater that I have plugged in, but it's on a thermostat, so it stays plugged in year-round, but it's not, with the temperature as it is now, it wouldn't be working. But I do have that in there, and so you can see they're all out now. Bluegill, they're all native species to Oklahoma. Red ear sunfish, I've got male and females. And I did have an issue with pH. If you're familiar with keeping fish, one of the water parameters you watch is the pH. And I made a filter for this system, like a trickle filter, where the water trickles through a gravel bed and also with some sand. And I put that, and I found that it works as a great biological filter and a media filter, but also you can put, it's a great germination, seed germination system. I can just put seeds in they're getting kind of aggressive there, you see. And that's the kind of thing that I want to see with this video of what is the level of aggression and how are all the fish behaving. And I want to keep everybody, as healthy as possible. And so the artificial plants and the plastic planters all help to reduce that stress, to give the fish hiding places. And then also recently, I had more structure for them, but recently to try to encourage spawning in this open area that you see right here, kind of in front, I cleared that away. And so basically half of the reservoir is structures, planters, and then half of it is this open area, which I'm hoping to see if they will go ahead and start spawning. You see that's a female bluegill, just went up and got a pellet over there. I notice over on this right-hand side, that slope where he just went up, he kind of guards that, or she kind of guards that area. And so, but it's not level enough for her to make a nest, a breeding nest, a little what they do, and or rather the male to make there's some interaction, the male to make a nest that needs to be more of a level spot. And I've thought about introducing some gravel because they do like to dig down. The male does like to dig down and make those spawning pits, and then the different males come and they spawn in those pits. So at the bottom here, I might introduce some gravel to see if that will encourage spawning. But they are doing good. Like I was saying about the pH, when I put the sand, it worked great as a biological filter, media filter, and also to be able to put seeds in there and germinate plants very easily, seedlings, to produce seedlings. And then because it's sand, I can just easily, as long as it's moist, you can pull those seedlings out and replant those in, however you'd like. But I believe the sand has a higher pH. So that caused my pH to spike. And I did need to use, at a local pet store, get a chemical called pH down. And I've slowly introduced that and brought the pH down to now it's about, I think 7.5. Excuse me there. I think it's about 7.5. And so that's healthier. You want to try to keep the pH for the plants and the fish around 7. 7.0 is ideal for most fish and plants. Some of them prefer slightly more acidic, some slightly more high pH, but a good universal standard is 7. So I still need to be bringing that down a little bit. And another way that I've done that is with a 55-gallon tank that I have that's indoors, and I have a tilapia in there. And I've just been able to take some of the water from that tank, which is around 7, and it has the good beneficial bacteria in it. And I've introduced it here into this system. And that has helped to balance the pH, bring that down to a more healthy level. And you do want to, if you do have to find yourself altering the pH, you do want to do that gradually over several days, depending on how much you do need to bring it down. That can stress the fish. Something else I've done to maintain the overall fish health is to add a little sea salt that's not, it doesn't have iodine in it, and natural sea salt that you can get at any grocery store. And I've added that in just a little bit over time, and that helps with their skin, reduce parasites and different things. Keeps the, it's kind of like a preventative treatment that you can do to really any aquarium, as long as you don't have certain snails and amphibians. Catfish don't, they can't do, the salt is not good for them. They don't have scales. But most fish in aquariums you can add a little bit of salt, and it's a natural thing, element that you can add to your tank to keep your fish healthy. Just a little buffer, and like I said, more of a preventative treatment that you can do for your fish. So I've added salt to this system. Of course, you don't want to add too much because this is an aquaponics system, and this water is recirculating and it's going through basically a hydroponic grow towers and that media filter bed that I was talking about, which I'll come out with more videos later about that to show you that, explain how I got it set up and how I run that. But yeah, you don't want to put too much salt, because if you're growing plants, that's that's going to affect the plant.